things that I'm really curious about is if you could tell us what forestry means to you.
Wow. What does forestry mean to me? That's a great question.
I don't know what forestry means to me. It's a tough question.
Forestry to me is means a lot of things.
I think to me, forestry has always meant family.
Forestry to me means peace.
It is a lifestyle. It is a calling.
Business with really good people. That's really what it's about to me.
It helps provide services to the community and provide jobs to everybody.
I think the first thing that comes to mind for me when I think of forestry is an industry of people with unparalleled passion.
To me, it is about trying to solve some complex, challenging problems and deliver the values to Albertans that they expect from their forests.
If I had to say anything, forestry means community.
It means something that we all need to be a part of.
Forestry sector workers, they live and breathe forestry, whether they're quadding, whether they're hunting, whether they're fishing, whether they're camping. It's all done in the landscape in which they also work in.
We are a big family that loves to spend time out enjoying the nature of Alberta.
But there's multiple favorite memories that I would have in the forest. Just getting out for the weekend, getting away, going for a nice hike up a mountain, seeing the views, just seeing the vastness of the forests around and kind of how majestic they are.
I think my favorite memory is the first time we took our two girls camping. That was all new for them. You never quite know what's around the next bend or behind the next tree. To see that sort of joy and excitement for them, that's a great memory for me.
I mean, there are hundreds of memories that I have in the forest, but I think just one of my favorite things above all is how lucky we are to be in this province that has so many forests and places to explore right in our backyard.
I love hiking. My favorite hike is probably Sulphur Skyline in Jasper National Park. And so when I proposed to my wife, I hiked her up to the top of that, and she didn't know what I was doing, but she likes hiking too. And then when I got to the top, I proposed to her, and she, said yes, so it was good.
Some really great memories that I always think back to about the forest actually started when I was really young. We would often go on these big camping trips. I didn't necessarily know who everybody was, but they were always all the nicest people, and they were always so knowledgeable about the forest. And it wasn't until later on that I actually started going to school in forestry that I actually realized my professors were on those camping trips.
We would go camping every summer. We'd go camping, whether it's Jasper, whether it's Banff, whether it's in BC somewhere, but we're always out there camping. Those are things that have stuck with me forever.
It's really important for our family to instill the value and the understanding of nature and the respect for it. Seeing the joy in your kid's face of drinking out of a mountain stream, fresh cold water, and dumping it on their head on a hot day is a lot of fun.
I love when I walked into a forest and you just take a deep breath and it's fresh air and it kind of calms me in a way.
Just being inside like a forest of trees is just amazing. It just makes you feel so good.
My favorite part about working at the AFPA is the people.
The people.
The people on this team are just incredible people, and they are so excited to help each other grow.
If I could say anything about the team, it's that we, really genuinely care about each other beyond the office and beyond the work.
People work really hard, but we also have a lot of time to have fun and talk to each other, which I think actually makes us more productive because now we know what everybody else is doing.
What's been amazing to me getting into this role and being a part of the forestry sector now is meeting people who are just so passionate about what they do.
My favorite part so far has just been learning the things that we use in our everyday lives that we kind of take for granted. There is a process to them, and it's actually quite fascinating to learn.
My favorite thing about working here is getting the opportunity to speak with people who don't know what we're doing in forestry. Really getting started in learning, the interactions that our forests have and kind of the science behind that, I always find super special.
One of my favorite things about working here is getting to deal with and build relationships with all of the members.
We all come from a very diverse background, and we all bring specializations and unique abilities to this. As a team, we come together to deliver a phenomenal product.
It's a small association, but we've got some really great people, and everybody brings their own kind of perspective and skill set.
I think I've really found my place here. If a younger Aspen would see me now, I think she would know that I've found my home.
Having people in my life that were close to me growing up who were in this sort of forestry industry and in the community, I do think that it kind of instilled something in me about how special our forests are and how important they are.
The forests are important because it's a place that a lot of people get away to enjoy, and it just gives you a great feeling, and you know that the forests are always going to be there with the plan that we have.
One of my early experiences in forestry was when I was a summer student and was working underneath a gentleman who'd been in the industry for decades. He and I were out driving one day. We came to a very quick stop next to a stand of trees. He said, "This is a block that I was involved in the planting of and the reforestation of about 25 or 30 years ago, and look at it now. If that's not why you're in this industry, then you're in the wrong industry."
Nobody has a more vested interest in ensuring that we have strong ecosystems for wildlife and for plants, and nobody wants to protect the forest more from fire and infestation than an industry that relies on it to feed their families.
We really need a forestry and an active forest, a working landscape to take care of the environment, to look after our trees, to harvest at the right time.
The forests have so many values, and it's not just timber, but it's cleaning the air that we breathe, providing those recreation opportunities.
The way that forest companies go about their business of managing forests lays a foundation for the fact that there will be forests for future generations.
I think it's important for our future. I want my kids to be able to have that same experience that we did before, the awe-inspiring moments. I want them to be able to have that in the future, so I think it's really important that we take care of them while we're here.
I have kids, and so I want to make sure that the planet is around for them when they grow up and have their own kids.
One thing I wish the broader public knew more about the industry is just how passionate our members, our employees, the forestry sector workers are about the environment.
This isn't an industry that kind of comes in and leaves. This is an industry that's here and here forever.
I think if there's one thing that I'd like Albertans to know about forestry in Alberta is the amount of work that goes into being sustainable.
A lot of people don't really understand that, yes, the mills come in and they cut down the trees to produce all these products for people, but they also replant the forests and have kind of a big plan for that, so it is sustainable.
One of the favorite facts that I've had is just the number of trees that our industry is planting.
One of the main things that I love about forestry is just the natural ability of trees to sequester carbon within its cellular structure.
I wish that more people knew all the different stuff that pulp goes into.
I wish that more people that aren't in this industry, that they knew everything behind what goes into the products that we use every day.
I think if there was one thing that Albertans can know is just how seriously the sector takes their responsibility for this incredibly valuable resource and how long they're a part of that process.
I wish that people would understand that, the forest industry isn't an enemy of the forest, it's a friend.